Hello, I would like to talk to you real quickly about our first assignment. At first, we're going to be working with the mode of descriptive writing, description. And so the resources that you need, you will find in the description folder. Okay, and the first assignment is a discussion board, and we use these two as models. Now, my philosophy in teaching you how to write well or write better is for you to model published writers, people who already have that skill. And so I provide you with examples to use. This one is from an autobiography. It's called by Jeanette Walls. It's from The Glass Castle, and it's the first chapter where she's talking about how she sees her mom on the street rummaging through a dumpster as Walls goes to a party on Park Avenue. And she has such beautiful description and details in it that I want you to see this and see how you can practice including these details in your own writing. And so if you're writing about an example from your life, you can include this type of imagery and figurative language in your own writing. And so she starts with, I was sitting in a taxi wondering if I had overdressed for the evening when I looked out the window and saw Mom rooting through a dumpster. It was just after dark. A blustery March wind whipped the steam coming out of the manholes, and people turned along the sidewalks with their collars turned up. I was stuck in traffic 2 blocks from the party where I was heading. Now, what I love about this, anybody can open up a personal anecdote, a personal story by talking about where you're at and what you're doing. In fact, that's one of the strongest ways to open up a story about your life, a little episode, is answer those questions. Where are you and what are you doing? And this is what Walls does. She's sitting in a taxi, getting ready to go to a party when she sees her mom out the taxi window. And so that's something that would be easy for you to start adding as you write. Now, the other little details that she adds is she talks about the rags around her shoulders and picking through the trash, while her dog, a black and white terrier mix. And so these are specific details. She doesn't just say her dog. She describes the color and the breed. And so details like the specific details improve the writing. It makes your writing stronger. It helps you connect to your reader because we can visualize the events that are going on in your life, and it helps us understand them better and you better, hopefully. Okay, and so what I would like for you to do is to read through this, and you can use it as an example for your first discussion board. You can try to mimic or model the writing. Okay, now Walls describes everything going on here. Then she describes her apartment, and this is kind of the inspiration for the discussion board. Walls describes the apartment. She's created this atmosphere. It's her books, her things, her decor, and yet she still doesn't feel at home in it. It's unnatural to her. And so that's something that you'll have to think about when you write, when you respond to the discussion post. Another thing that I want you to consider as you write is what Walls does is she explains her thoughts. Why did she duck down? She sees her mom and she ducks, she hides from her. So why? I mean, it's clear that she's embarrassed. She doesn't want anybody to know that that's her mom out digging in the trash. That her mom is homeless. Why Walls has money in a nice apartment on Park Avenue. Another strategy that she uses that you can use is this, it's dialogue. And so she is describing the conversation between her and her mom. Now you notice each time a speaker changes, it's a brand new paragraph. And so this is Walls speaking here. Here's the mom speaking, then Walls, and then the mom, okay? And so you have a new speaker, you need a new paragraph. And that's just a grammar tip. Okay, now here's the first piece of inspiration. And then the second piece that you can find is the barrio. And in this piece, Ramirez is describing his neighborhood. And he opens the response by talking about the train that runs through the neighborhood, and it separates his neighborhood from another neighborhood. It's kind of like the outline of his neighborhood. But it's beautiful the way he talks about this is imagery: sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. And so he talks about the squealing of the wheels and the silvery tracks and the street lamp, and you can see the light kind of beating like a heartbeat through the spaces in the train cars. This is beautiful writing. Okay. And he basically describes his neighborhood. He describes the homes, he describes the fences, the grocery stores, everything about the neighborhood. These little paragraphs talk about the different businesses. Notice that the foreign words are italicized. And so if you use foreign language in your description, that's fine. Just make sure that it's italicized. It tells the reader that you know that this word is going to be underlined in red because the dictionary, the American English Dictionary, doesn't recognize the word, so it thinks it's misspelled. But by underlining it, it tells us that it's a foreign word. Okay, so you can use his writing as an example to describe your neighborhood. Now, let's look at your first assignment. It's the discussion board, and you have two options. One, you could talk about what makes a person have a sense of belonging and warmth. And so you will describe a home, like what's in the home that makes it feel like a home. It makes it feel like a place where you belong. Okay, option two is you would describe a neighborhood in which you live. I want you to kind of mimic Ramirez's writing and include some metaphor, like he uses the train throughout his essay. You would use some metaphor that frames your neighborhood and use that throughout your essay or your response, your discussion post. This tells you the minimum. You need to have 500 plus words. You need to have, since we are working on description, you need to have description in the writing. It should have details: sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, specific street names. If you're talking about a neighborhood, you should name the streets. Okay. Provide specificity. Name the businesses that are in the area. Okay. And you will also need to respond to two peers. And this is the form you use. It's called plus, minus, next. And so what it does, it's basically 3 sentences of peer response. So you offer a comment on something positive. And these are sentence stems that you can use. Please be specific and refer to specifically what he or she has said. And so don't just say, I like how you use details. Be more specific. I like the way you describe your neighborhood as loud and vibrant. Okay. You actually will cite something they've said. The minus is where you point out a misunderstanding or something that maybe is a little vague and you didn't get, where there's some confusion or lack of clarity. And a suggestion is what they can do next time, what they can add perhaps or detail more. Okay, so you should have at least 3 sentences of peer response. If you've never done one of these before, you just click in the assignment, create a new thread, give it a catchy title, and right here, something that would, entice someone to come and read your post, and then you post it here. Okay, and that's it. And good luck.